This is the fifth estate winning headlines, your media police post coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, from the Fortal School of Government. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 15th of March 2022, and I'm Tuem.
I am CS.
And I'm Miss K. Again, in case you missed today's headlines, here they are. Ruto's big day from the Daily Nation, The Standard, trouble in Azimio, The Star, Mudavadi, Rigathi, best for Ruto, poll. And People Daily, confusion in Azimio as allies differ. Well, today we will give a psychoanalysis of William Ruto's speech in the UDA NDC. William Ruto is what we call a choice architect. He has selected his version of the issues for determination in 2022, and he's creating the context in which we will make the decision on who we vote for as president. He's reiterating select keywords to manipulate us using the framing effect. The framing effect is a cognitive bias where an individual's choice from a set of options is influenced more by how the information is worded than by the information itself.
Yes.
It is a choice based on presentation rather than substance.
Correct.
And a frame is a term psychologists give to the theoretical filters or categories our minds use to help store, manage, and interpret the meaning of information. You see, the human brain is limited in its ability to process information. Therefore, it unconsciously creates frames or filters or categories to help it to quickly process information and make decisions. And the type of frame a person uses determines how they perceive and respond in a given situation. For instance, when you were looking for sanitizer in 2020, you chose a product which claimed to kill 95% of all the germs over the one which claimed that 5% of the germs would survive. Now, in his speech today, William Ruto began creating phantom frames right out of the 1990s civil society playbook to alter our perception of the 2022 election and to influence whether or not we will vote and how we will vote. And in stating the issues that in his view were on the ballot, he masterfully used the framing effect against ordinary Kenyans by using words like imperial presidency, impunity, monopolies, cartels, state capture, rule of law, weaponization of state institutions, and control of the levers of power. William Ruto sought to resurrect the ghost of the 1990s and use its negative connotations to make Kenyans vote for him, even if the actual claims made are misleading.
Lies.
This is because, according to Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, the scientists who discovered the framing effect, negative connotations pertaining to information are more likely than the actual information itself to regulate a person's response. Now, by reviving the emotive ghost of the 1992 election, Ruto hopes to hoodwink Kenyans into voting for him. Even though this is 2022, not 1992, Uhuru is not Moi, and we have an autonomous DCI and KRA and an over-independent judiciary to the point of activism, all protected by the 2010 Constitution he apparently supports. What Ruto does not realize is that Kenyans are stupid, but they are not as stupid as he thinks they are. Today, Kenyans listen to him. We felt lied to and manipulated, and it's only a matter of time before Ruto realizes that his framing effect trick is well understood by us Kenyans.
Okay, I could not agree more. We want to confirm to the country that William Ruto is Kenya's foremost liar. He lies with his mouth, lies with his eyes, and lies with every part of his being. And even God knows it. And here is why. Ruto told us today that what's on the ballot in August is agriculture. What's on the ballot in August is the economy. That what's on the ballot in August is debt. Ladies and gentlemen, we will deconstruct every agenda promise Ruto made today and compare it to his record. One, in 2009, when Ruto was Minister for Agriculture, aflatoxin maize was imported into Kenya. The maize had seals of the National Cereals and Produce Board, a parastatal in the Ministry of Agriculture. This maize was sold to Kenyans despite the advice of Kenya Bureau of Standards. It is on parliamentary record. When asked why he refused to authorize the release of maize to Kenyans, Kioko Mangeli, then Kenya Bureau of Standards boss, said he would be releasing cancer to Kenyans. The ministry ignored him, and guess what? They released the maize. And here is what he had to say. Here is a clip.
This maize eventually was consumed by Kenyans. Are you fearful that Kenyans may have consumed maize that contains aflatoxin?
I'm more than 100% sure that it affects people, and that within the next 10 to 15 years, we'll also have serious cases of cancer based on this maize. This is true.
Question: how can a man who imported cancer-induced maize have the moral authority to speak about reviving agriculture? And this is what is on the ballot. Maize with aflatoxin with cancer. This is the Ruto promise. If he done it then, he will do it now. A banana tree will not give you bananas in 2013, give you bananas in 2017, and then give you oranges in 2022.
You shall know them by their fruits.
2, Ruto told us today what will be on Kenya's on the ballot is Kenya's economy. Now we have it on record that Kenya's worst economic year in history was 1993. Guess who was finance minister then? William Ruto's running mate, Musalia Mudavadi. In fact, when Musalia was finance minister, inflation reached a record 100%. 100%. And that's not all. When Musalia was finance minister, Kenya made history and became home to Africa's largest gold scam, Golden Bag. Over $2 billion then was paid out to over 400 fictitious companies. In fact, it is estimated over 10% of Kenya's GDP was cleaned out of the Kenya Central Bank. Who was in charge then? Ruto's co-principal and running mate, Musalia Mudavadi. That is what will be on the ballot. If they done it then, they will do it again. And 3, William Ruto told us that debt will be on the ballot. But he also told us that no economy ever develops on debt. This is the same person who told us just 4 years ago, we must borrow to develop. Here's a clip.
Do we grow the economy so that we have enough money to implement our program? Or do we borrow money, implement our program to stimulate a faster growth of the economy? In our assessment as Jubilee, we believe the balance is necessary. As so long as we are within reasonable ceiling, it's good for us to borrow money, provide the infrastructure, rail, road, energy, so that you grow the economy faster, stimulate the economy, pay off the debt, and be able to move the country forward faster.
But that's not all. 2 years ago, none other than Aden Duale, then leader of government business, sponsored a motion in parliament that raised Kenya's debt ceiling to 9 trillion shillings. But today, Ruto and Duale accuse Uhuru of increasing the debt ceiling. And this is what they want to be on the ballot. What's our point here? If we were to take William Ruto's record in government for the last 30 years, he is the least qualified candidate for the election. And that's because he is a political liar. He is a polar opposite of his record. But there's more. If Ruto reckons his boss's regime has failed, he must resign. If he doesn't resign, he will be guilty of every ill that he has accused his boss on. If he does not resign, it means he is lying. End of discussion.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, now that you mentioned it, maybe we should also play the clip where Jirongo told us something about Golden Bag.
Absolutely.
Na wengi mmesikia watu wakisema YK92 ilifanya taifa la Kenya uchumi ikaharibika. Na mimi nimebeba huo msalaba na nyinyi hamjajua ni nini ilifanyika. Uchumi wa taifa hili uliangushwa 1992, 1993 na wanasiasa wawili na muhindi mmoja. Ile kitu ilikuwa inaitwa Golden Bag. Na wala ambao amuniamini, muende mufanye research. Ile nyumba ndugu yangu amekuwa akiishi Riverside, ilikuwa ya Kamulesh Patini au haikuwa ya Kamulesh Patini? Kwa hivyo wewe utaenda umekaa na mfisadi mwenzako, unaanza kusomea Wakenya mambo kuhusu ufisadi. Hiyo ni aibu. Na mimi nataka tufanye siasa ya ukweli.
Now, in addition to today's NDC UDA, something interesting also happened in Thika over the weekend. It was very disturbing. During the Thika UDA rally, Ruto castigated the president. He hurled all sorts of verbal accusations. And instead of the people of Kiambu booing him, many cheered him on. But it is not too late for them to repent. However, if they do not, there will be consequences. Let us explain by way of a biblical story. After the great flood, Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Japheth, and Ham, who was the father of Canaan, they were blessed and were instructed to be fruitful, multiply, and increase greatly on the earth. Following this, Noah became a farmer, a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. From his vineyard, he made wine, and one day he overindulged and got drunk. When this happened, he retreated into his tent, took off his clothes, and fell asleep. After this, Ham, the father of Canaan, walked into the tent, and when he saw that his father was naked, he went to his brothers and told them what he had seen. But Shem and Japheth had more respect for their father. They took a rope, put it across their shoulders, and walked backward into the tent. Then they covered their father without looking at his nakedness. Later, Noah woke up, and when he learned how shameless his youngest son, Ham, the father of Canaan, had been, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." But God blessed the brothers of Ham, who covered up Noah, Shem, and Japheth, and their descendants. There are 3 takeaways from this story. Number 1, the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is the son of Kiambu.
Yes.
Kiambu is his home, and it was the home of his father, the father of the nation. To the Kikuyus of Kiambu,
Yes.
show some respect for your son,
Yeah.
the head of state and the leader of the Gama nation.
Yes.
Uhuru has worked hard in the last 9 years to make the soils of Gama fertile and productive again after the flood of the Moi years that swept everything away. And he's trying to secure even more for your descendants, and so that another flood will not sweep away your inheritance.
Yes.
Number 2,
Yeah.
if the people of Kiambu, and for that matter, the entire Kikuyu nation, do not vote with Azimio, they too will suffer a political curse. Gema will be condemned to the opposition not only for the next 5 years, but maybe even longer than the Moi years. And the real danger is the oppressive policies they will suffer. But also, people of Kiambu in particular should also remember that they were left out of Kibaki's first kitchen cabinet.
Yes.
When Kibaki got to state, he appointed Mudhaura, Muraria, and Kiraito from Meru, Mishuki from Maranga, and Murungaru from Nyeri.
Yes.
If you do not show up for Azimio, and should Azimio win, and they will, the sins of Kiambu will be remembered. Mount Kenya East may once again get a larger share than Mount Kenya West. Finally, number 3, it is disingenuous for William Ruto to be seeking sympathy from Kenyans over the fact that the president will not back him. Ruto knows that in politics, much is promised, but nothing is guaranteed. When Noah and his sons got off the ark, they were all blessed. But because of Ham's behavior, a curse was introduced. Yes, William Ruto, a promise was made, but because you chose greed and betrayal, you jeopardized the guarantee of that promise. Uhuru was well within his rights and wisdom to exercise the prerogative to change his mind and to prefer Raila Odinga as a more befitting successor.
Wow.
Guys, let me ask you, and now I want to really echo what Prof said. If Raila Odinga went to Kericho and insulted William Ruto, do you think the people of Kericho would cheer him as he insulted Ruto? If Ruto went to Kisumu and insulted Raila, do you think the people of Kisumu would cheer Ruto as he's insulting them? You Kikuyus, you cheer Ruto as he is insulting your leader. He is insulting your leader and you're cheering him on. You should be ashamed of yourselves because who's that guy who, I'm not too competent with the Bible, who's that guy who?
Ham.
Ham.
Canaan, yeah.
You are the biblical Ham. You're fools.
And you're calling
just
on
like
yourself
Hams.
a curse.
Yes.
We have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines for you. We ask ourselves 3 questions. Is the headline topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, and thoughtful or just plain lazy? Ruto's big day, trouble in Azimio, Mudavadi, Rigathi, best for Ruto, and confusion in Azimio. I don't think any of these
I think
headlines
the whole lot of them
give us.
belong to dustbin.
Yeah.
And we toss them. We do not have a winning headline. Onto the political pieces that we call cartoons. Just like the headlines, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge them for you. We ask ourselves, are they humorous or dry, satirical or pessimistic, and effective or just plain lazy? Let's begin with the Standard.
The Standard, you have Gado, and that's a caricature of President Zelensky of Ukraine. And he seems, he cuts quite a disheveled figure right there. And the caption there is saying is the Ukraine government is offering African students free scholarships to join the Ukrainian army. Whoa, I think this is with regard to the war in Ukraine, Russia attacking Ukraine, and how Putin has boxed in, this Zelensky guy until he's asking for international help.
Volunteers, come join our army. I say we put that in the parking bay, though I feel like tossing it on site.
Maybe we should tell Kikuyus to go to Ukraine. Those ones supporting Ruto.
We can go and give themselves for principles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Onto the Star.
In the Star, you have a caricature there of Prime Minister Raila Odinga boarding a plane and Ruto on the tarmac, and Prime Minister Raila is saying, "Ball is in my court." And this is in reference to Raila's tour of the UK this week, and he's going to create a better image of country, to represent country as he should. The deputy president went and tarnished the image of Kenya. He not only aired our dirty linen, he went to wash the dirty linen there. Prime Minister Raila Odinga is cutting the figure of a statesman. You can see the meetings he's having. Today he was with the Minister of Armed Forces of the UK. Tomorrow he's going to be with Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla of Cornwall, Duchess of Cornwall. So this represents, the path that Ruto took is creating a path for Raila to emerge as more of a statesman than Ruto ever will be.
CS, Prof always tells us that whenever you hear someone saying they're self-made, you're staring at the horrors of unskilled
labor.
It's these guys who grew up as chicken sellers and just want now to become a president of a country. They haven't gone through the training. That's the kind of stuff you see. Them washing the dirty linen in foreign countries.
Shame on us. Finally, the Daily Nation. Here we have a caricature of William Ruto. He's sitting on a chair with Rigathi Gachagua on his lap, but Gachagua's legs are resting on the chair labeled running mate. And Irungu Kangata is standing behind the running mate chair, and he has his right leg on it, trying to climb onto it. Musalia Mudavadi is trying to sit on the same chair, and Cleophas Malala is looking on thinking, what is going on? So many contemporaries take us for that chair in Kenya Kwisha Alliance.
Kenya Kwisha Alliance.
Kenya Kwisha Alliance. I don't know. I think it's an apt description of the race for the running mate position, but I don't think that any of today's cartoon are worth our time.
Yep.
We toss them all, and just like the winning headline, we do not have a winning cartoon. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also on your TV screens. Find us on Pan, Free to Air, GoTV, and Star Times. And I'll leave you with a quote from a 16th century Spanish nobleman and politician and writer called Francisco de Quevedo. And he says, in short, things are not what they seem. In fact, they're not even what they're called. Speaking about today's NDC. Do have a great evening.
God bless.